One of the things that makes Lady in White such a unique project is that there's multiple different cuts for this movie. We are basically working off of 3 different cuts, one being the theatrical, one being the pre-release director's cut, and the other being the home video release director's cut.
In order to access the 35mm original camera negative, we had to go to our colleagues at the Academy Film Archive.
When it comes to film scanning, it all starts when our archivist, Oscar, gets the film in. After it's been inspected, we will clean the film, then put it onto the ARRI film scanner.
Once the physical film materials have been scanned, it goes to Curtis to actually conform the materials.
Occasionally, we have to use different film sources in order to assemble the best version of the movie that we can. And so my job is to go through the different film sources that we have and use those in order to edit them to make the fullest version of the movie that we can.
Obviously, the OCN is the best element, is usually the best for color, the best for just everything, usually cleanliness too, if it was taken care of.
In the ideal situation, you have an OCN which has the original cut, the original film director's vision. The Lady in White, which was shot in the late 80s, it was shot on 35mm original negative stock ECN, Eastman color negative. It has really beautiful color depth and density, and is the best it's ever going to look. Unfortunately, with this film, it was matched to the theatrical cut.
So for this movie, the first thing was to make sure that the original camera negative that was labeled as a theatrical cut actually was. So we had to get a confirmed source of the theatrical cut, and I had to do a comparison between the OCN and the theatrical cut to make sure that they were exact, which they were.
Because the 35mm original camera negative matches the theatrical cut, we have a little bit of an inherent issue. We have to find the other elements.
So once I knew that there was missing stuff in the pre-release director's cut as well as the home video director's cut, I then had to contact MGM and they had to try to locate that footage.
With these studios, when they actually take on a film, they oftentimes take on a preprint element. So in this case, for the original director's cut, we were very thankful to figure out that MGM in their vaults had an interpositive.
MGM scanned sections from the original interpositive, and from that we were able to get a bunch of the other footage we needed.
This pre-release director's cut is the earliest film example of this director's vision, and in addition to that, it's one generation down from the original camera negative. Unfortunately, in the case of The Lady in White, we were missing certain sections that actually made up that original pre-release director's cut.
When we got to Reel 5, we found out that there was just missing footage completely. And this then put us in a situation where we had to track down a print of the film in order to find those missing shots.
Eventually, we learned from the director Frank LaLoggia that in the 90s he had deposited a 35mm answer print to the George Eastman Museum. He is originally from Rochester, New York, and the actual whole story of The Lady in White is largely based on a myth from Rochester.
When it comes to film elements, whether it's original camera negative, interpositive, or positive film print, all of those can have their own inherent issues. With film prints, that's when we can occasionally get the worst of the splices, especially if these were prints that were screened a lot and just were not taken care of back then. With this, we were lucky in that everything scanned very nicely. Whenever we can find everything, it's one of the best feelings too, because for these preservations, you just don't know if you will find everything.
Oftentimes it's brought up to us, why release this film when it's already been released? To be perfectly honest, you see it clearer than ever before, even when compared to its last release.
So back in the late 80s when this was made, you had the very early computer and CGI just starting off in like prototype stage. That wasn't available to filmmakers really. So everything was done with opticals, essentially multiple layers put on one another to create this special effect. This film has a lot of special effects. The big climax is a massive all-out special effects bonanza, if you will. You have crazy fights over a cliff that obviously they couldn't really shoot at there, so the cliff itself is optically added on. You have all these different crazy elements, and it was a lot to work on. That being said, between the negative, the interpositive, the answer print from all three institutions, we were able to really get it to the best look it could possibly be.
From an archival perspective, I think our collaboration with other film archives is incredibly important to ensuring that there's a common space for sharing which materials actually still exist.
These institutions and studios, frankly, they do take care of and believe in preservation just as much as we do.
Not only is Vinegar Syndrome a restoration company, but we are also a preservation company, which means that as technology improves, we want to continue to release these movies in the best possible version that we can.
As the years go on, the technology for preservation and restoration just gets better and better. So to revisit Lady in White in 4K with a brand new scan, brand new preservation of all three versions, I think it's absolutely essential from preservation standpoint, because you do want to update what you have. I think people will be very excited to check out Lady in White for the kind of the first time all over again too, whichever version you watch.